Motherboard components and their functions. Understanding your motherboard components and their functions is simple. Join us as we explain the different parts of a motherboard with this video. At the first glance, a motherboard can appear to be complicated, even daunting to some. How are we supposed to figure out that jumble of connectors, ports, slots, sockets and heat sinks? The good news: to find your way around a motherboard, all you'll need to know are the major motherboard parts and their functions. And what better way to do it than with this video? Let's meet our motherboard components. Back panel connectors and ports is a connector at the back of a computer where you plug in an external device such as a printer, keyboard, scanner, mouse, modem and many more. It contains the display ports, audio ports, USB ports, Ethernet ports, PS2 ports, etc. This allows instructions and data to flow between the computer and the device. The computer ports are also commonly referred to as the input or output ports. PCI Express X1 slots, slot for modern expansion cards such as sound cards, network cards like Wi-Fi, Ethernet, Bluetooth. Connector cards like USB, FireWire, eSOT and certain low-end graphics cards. PCI Express X16 slot for discrete graphic cards and high-bandwidth devices such as top-end solid-state drives. Northbridge, also known as Memory Controller Hub or MCH chipset that allows the CPU to communicate with the RAM and graphics card. Beginning from the Sandy Bridge generation of Intel CPU, motherboards no longer have this component as it has been integrated within the CPU itself. CPU socket or CPU slot is a mechanical component that provides mechanical and electrical connections between the microprocessor and the printed circuit board or PCB. This allows the CPU to be replaced without soldering. A TX 12 volts power connector connects to the 4-pin power cable of a power supply unit which supplies power to the CPU. Front panel USB and audio connectors connects to USB and audio ports at the front or top of a computer case. Front panel connectors connects to the power switch, reset switch, power LED and hard drive LED of a computer case. CMOS battery supplies power to store BIOS settings and keep the real-time clock running. Southbridge, also known as the Input or Output Controller Hub or ICH chipset that allows the CPU to communicate with PCI slots, PCI Express X1 slots like expansion cards, SATA connectors like hard drives, optical drives, USB ports like USB devices, Ethernet ports and onboard audio. SATA connectors connects to modern hard disk drives, solid-state drives and optical drives for data transfer. Fan headers supplies power to the CPU, heatsink fan and computer case fans. RAM slots are vertical slots, typically numbering 3 or 4, which usually are located at the upper right corner of the motherboard. TX power connector connects to the 24-pin ATX power cable of a power supply unit which supplies power to the motherboard. Thank you. Produced by BCR Production. Thanks to Romeo T. Navarro Jr. Director. Members: Zandro, Manalo, Raymond San, Tabo, Jonan, Momo, John Paul, Sagadol.